Your brain has been hijacked. And the people who did it are getting paid every second you don't realize it. You sit down to do something important. A task. An email. A goal you've been putting off for weeks. And within 60 seconds, you're somewhere else entirely. You didn't choose to leave. You just drifted. Like smoke through a crack in the wall. And here's the thing nobody's telling you, this isn't a you problem. It's not laziness. It's not ADHD. It's not the way your brain works. It's the result of a war being waged on your attention. And you've been losing it without even knowing you were in a fight. Stay with me. Because by the end of this, you won't be able to look at your phone or your own mind the same way again. Section 01 of 06. The dopamine slot machine. Here's where it starts. And it starts before you even wake up. The moment you reach for your phone, before your feet hit the floor, you've already lost. Because your brain, still warm from sleep, gets hit with a wave of dopamine it never had to earn. A like. A message. A notification. A reel that made you laugh. Free dopamine. Instant, no effort required. Now here's the dark part that the app designers absolutely know and will never tell you. Your brain now expects that level of stimulation for everything. And when real life doesn't deliver it, it shuts down. That report you need to write? That project that actually matters? Boring. Flat. Colorless. Your brain compares it to the slot machine in your pocket and simply refuses to engage. This is called dopamine dysregulation. And it's been engineered into your daily routine with surgical precision. The people who built these apps? They have PhDs in behavioral psychology. They sat in rooms and asked one question: how do we make this as addictive as possible? Most people never notice this. They just feel scattered, empty, perpetually behind, never realizing the game was rigged before they even sat down to play. Section 02 of 06. The attention economy doesn't care about you. Let's get uncomfortable for a second. You are not the customer. You are the product. Every app, every platform, every algorithm, their entire business model runs on one currency: your attention. The longer they hold it, the more ads they sell. The more ads they sell, the more money they make. It's that simple. And it's that cold. They are not trying to improve your life. They are trying to consume it. Think about the last time you opened Instagram just for a second. Where did you wake up? 20 minutes later? 30? Sitting in a daze with no memory of what you actually looked at. That's not an accident. That's the design. Infinite scroll. Autoplay. Variable reward. No natural stopping point. These aren't convenience features. They're traps built by people who studied gambling psychology. And here's what this does to your brain long term. It erodes what psychologists call your default mode network. The quiet mental space where your best ideas live. Where creativity breathes. Where you actually solve problems. You've been slowly filling that space with noise. With content. With other people's thoughts. And now, when you try to think, there's nothing there. Just static. Section 03 of 06. The phantom vibration. Your brain is rewired. Here's something that should genuinely disturb you. Have you ever felt your phone vibrate? And checked it? And there was nothing there? That's called a phantom vibration. And nearly 90% of smartphone users experience it. Think about what that means. Your brain has become so conditioned to waiting for a notification, so desperate for that dopamine hit that it hallucinates the trigger. You're not just addicted. Your nervous system has been restructured around a device. Neuroscientists call this neuroplasticity gone wrong. Your brain rewires itself based on what you do repeatedly. And if you spend 4, 5, 6 hours a day fragmenting your attention across dozens of microstimulations, your brain loses the literal hardware for sustained thought. The prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for deep focus, planning, impulse control, it weakens, literally thins out, in some studies. You're not lazy. You're operating damaged equipment. And you were never warned. Real-life scenario, a software engineer. Smart guy. Used to code for 6 hours straight in the zone. Now, 18 months later, he can barely hold focus for 20 minutes. Nothing changed about his ambition. Nothing changed about his intelligence. Everything changed about his phone habits. He gained 3 social media apps and lost his greatest professional superpower. Section 04 of 06. Multitasking is a lie they sold you. For years, multitasking was sold as a skill, a superpower, something to brag about in job interviews. It was always a lie. Here's what actually happens when you multitask. Your brain doesn't do 2 things at once. It rapidly switches between them. Task switching, they call it. And every single switch costs you something, a cognitive toll, a small mental tax. Studies show it takes an average of 23 minutes to reach full focus after a single interruption. 23 minutes. For one distraction. Now count your interruptions in a single hour. Your phone. A notification, thought about what to eat. A quick check of the news. Email. A sound from the next room. You're never reaching deep focus. Ever. You're spending your entire day in the shallows, doing surface-level work. Producing surface-level results. And wondering why nothing ever feels finished, or good enough, or real. And here's the part that gets truly dark. The most successful people in the world, the ones actually building things, actually thinking clearly, they protect their attention like a vault. Cal Newport calls it deep work. The billionaires call it their edge. They have the same 24 hours. But they've preserved something you've been giving away for free. Section 05 of 06. The emotional hijack, fear is the algorithm. Now this is where it gets genuinely sinister. The algorithm doesn't just want your attention. It wants your emotional attention. Because emotional content holds 3x longer than neutral content. And what emotion is the most powerful? The most viral, the most sticky? Fear. Outrage. Anxiety. Threat. Your brain is wired to prioritize danger, and the algorithm. Learn to weaponize that wiring. Every scroll through the newsfeed is a manufactured threat environment. Your nervous system never fully calms down. It stays in low-grade fight or flight. Cortisol slightly elevated. Amygdala slightly activated. And here's the focus connection nobody talks about. You literally cannot think clearly when you are in fear mode. The brain routes blood and resources to survival, away from the prefrontal cortex. Away from the exact part of your brain you need to focus. So the algorithm makes you anxious to keep you scrolling, and the scrolling keeps you anxious. And the anxiety destroys your ability to think. And because you can't think, you feel more anxious. It's a loop. A closed, engineered loop. And you've been living inside it, mistaking it for reality. Section 06 of 06. The identity theft. You don't know what you think anymore. This is the one most people aren't ready for. When was the last time you sat in silence, no phone, no music, no podcast, and just thought? Not scrolling other people's thoughts. Not absorbing other people's opinions, just your own raw mind, working. For most people reading this, they can't remember. Because silence has become unbearable. And when you can't be alone with your own mind, you don't have a focus problem. You have a self problem. The constant consumption of content means you never develop original thoughts. You just remix. You absorb a take, you share a take, you react to a take. Your intellectual life becomes a second-hand store. Your values, your opinions, your ambitions, over time, they start to look suspiciously like whatever the algorithm showed you last week. The deepest damage of the attention economy isn't that you can't focus on work. It's that you can't focus on yourself, your actual desires, your actual direction, your actual life. You're running someone else's program and calling it your personality. Here's the uncomfortable truth I need you to sit with. You've been told that focus is a productivity hack, a life tip, a morning routine tweak. But focus is not a productivity tool. Focus is sovereignty. The ability to direct your own mind, to choose what you think about, what you build, what you become. That is the most fundamental human freedom there is. And it has been quietly, systematically extracted from you. In exchange for entertainment, for comfort, for the feeling of connection, without the cost of real intimacy. They didn't take your time. They took your mind, and they did it while you were watching. The people who understand this, who actually reclaim their attention, they don't just become more productive. They become different, calmer, clearer, more dangerous in the best way. Because a person who controls their own attention controls their own reality. And that is a person who cannot be easily managed. That's what they don't want you to know. I want you to do something right now. Don't open another app after this. Don't immediately send a message. Don't fill the silence. Just sit with what you just heard. Let it land. Let your own mind respond to it, without input. Because that quiet moment, that's the beginning of taking it back. If you felt something watching this, a little discomfort, a little recognition, that's not coincidence. That's your brain remembering what it used to be capable of. Watch this again tomorrow. You'll catch something you missed. And if you're not subscribed yet, ask yourself why you're still giving your attention to things that don't give it back. PsycheTrap. You can't unsee it.